Hello, hello, hello. We are just getting started here. And we're just going to give it a few seconds here before everyone trickles in. Okay, let's see. People, chat. Okay, let's get the people rolling on in. What is going on? You are watching and, of course, listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition, where we're here every Wednesday night on the Crowdcast platform. I am your host, Stevie V, and alongside Kodi, Maurice, Doggette. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful, wonderful.
Nice. I think I mentioned that this is episode 640, but if I didn't, it's episode 640. And I am wearing red because, of course, Friday is Valentine's. And so I thought I'd get
Oh,
into the spirit a little early.
is it?
And yeah, it is Valentine's Day on Friday. And as we record this live on Wednesday, and we are in front of a live virtual audience, and I'm sure we will be reading off some of the comments from you as the hour goes on. I did want to quickly shout out to somebody that listens to us that I ran into at the New York Eagle just the other day. And shout out to Jeff, who listens to us, I believe, here in New York. And I ran into him, I believe it was running, I was with my boyfriend and we were almost running into each other on the staircase. And he stopped me and said, "You're Steve, right? The host of TAGSPodcast." I said, "Yes." And he said, "I'm such a fan of the show." And so we thank you. And it's always fun to run into people that listens to our show when we're out and about. So shout out to Jeff. Thank you for
Hi,
being a
Jeff.
loyal listener to us. And another thing, I wanted to make a correction on our last episode of 639. We were trying to search for the title of the Lady Gaga song that she was singing at the pregame of the Super Bowl. And the song is called Hold My Hand, which was from the Top Gun film. And if you remember Top Gun, they made a resurgence, a new version of it. And she created that song, Hold My Hand, for the Tom Cruise film. And it's such a great song. I love it. I love the lyrics. It's powerful. Have you seen the music video for it, Kodi? It's really good.
No, I didn't even know that was a song from Top Gun. I didn't know she did a song for that movie. I
Yeah.
am I'm
Yeah,
today years old.
right. I mean, we were watching the pre-game and we were wondering she's singing at the piano and we're wondering, what is this amazing song? It's
It's
so
a really good song.
piano driven, belting out, lyrically it's great, and nobody can seem to find out what this song was from. And that often happens when it's for a movie, and it was for the Top Gun film. But I have to tell you, my boyfriend sent me the video. I love the music video. I love the lyrics. It would maybe be something that I would use for like a wedding song or something like that. It's
Oh,
that good. Yeah,
really?
it's just kind of one of those one-offs that is a winner in my mind, and I loved it so much. And so, yeah, hold my hand. We couldn't think of it the other day. I love to correct ourselves when we do figure things out. Oh my gosh! Like I said, we're in front of a virtual audience today. Hello, James. Hi, great to see you. Oh my gosh, James is off to Puerto Vallarta tomorrow, my second home. What? If you need any advice on where to go, please reach out to me offline and I will help you out. But I'm sure you'll just be fine, as we just love Puerto Vallarta. Keep those comments coming in. So much to get into, Kodi, on this episode,
Oh yeah.
including Google, which changed the Google Calendar recently. Everybody's trying to change things because of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. They're all dropping it. But Google Calendar started dropping things like Pride Month, Black History Month, Hispanic Heritage Month from their calendar starting last year. Their official note was that they're now just going to public holidays and only observing those. And they say that getting rid of all these, listing some others: Jewish Heritage Month, Holocaust Remembrance Day will no longer be on the Google Calendar. And what they said was in mid 2024, we returned to showing only public holidays and national observances from timeanddate.com. That's the website where they get all these globally, while allowing users to essentially add it yourself if you really want to celebrate that in a particular month. They also said that they are getting rid of DEI initiatives in response to what's been going on as well. Their last thing that they said, Kodi, was the reason that they got rid of it was because there was a lot of other holidays, according to them, and I'm using air quotes, that people had brought up to them that didn't make the mix sometimes, according to this company, timeanddate.com, and they didn't feel that it was fair so they'd just rather just get rid of it all. Do you buy that? Or do you think that this is just this whole wiping out of anything that has to do with, looking at a marginalized communities?
Well, we've been saying that they are trying to erase anything that's not straight, white, male. And the quiet part out loud is they don't want the pores there either. So
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. This is exactly what they meant when they said "Make America Great Again." As far as I'm concerned, they want the women in the kitchen, the faggots in the closet. I'm sorry, I don't say that word that often, and they want the colored people on the bottom. So and they are trying to deport all the Latinos to Mexico. They don't even know what country they're coming from, but they all go back to Mexico. So I think that this is something that is totally planned. And I feel like what we haven't said is that we don't need them in order to celebrate ourselves, in order to celebrate these
Right.
holidays. So
We're still going to celebrate Pride. We're still going to
and Black History
celebrate all of
Month,
these Hispanic
Women's
Heritage
History Month.
Month.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If they have blue people, I would celebrate blue people because it's all about exposing yourself not only to your culture and finding out about your culture, it's about exposing yourself and learning about other cultures as well. And that is what our power is over them. That's what we have over top of them because they don't care about other people. They don't want to learn about other people. And we have love and we have learning that we want to experience other cultures. And we have curiosity that we want to be able to connect with other people that are different from us. So I think we should be celebrating all the time, and they can take them off the calendar if they want to, but they can never take Black History Month, Pride, all of the things. They can never take it from my heart.
And they won't take it away from us, thank goodness, because we are more powerful than a calendar. And I just think it goes back to when you were in grade school, when you learned about addition and subtraction. Subtracting is taking away, adding is fulfilling, and adding an awareness. And even if you didn't celebrate Holocaust Remembrance Day, if it wasn't on your radar, you possibly know somebody that is of Jewish heritage. And that has sparked up conversations with, say, I talk about him a lot, my barber. And during Hanukkah, I said, oh, is it Hanukkah or what's the holiday now? And he makes me aware of it. Those types of things that are on the calendar are an addition, not a subtraction, because we have always been a melting pot in this country, and we have the awareness factor, if nothing else. Even if you don't celebrate it and put out a flag for that particular day, the awareness factor is what made this country so beautiful and great. And on that note, I was just reminded by my boyfriend who told me that February 12th, which is today when we record this, is National Freedom to Marry Day. And it's been celebrated annually on February 12th, actually since the 90s. In the late 90s, it was brought up by Evan Wolfson, the founder of Freedom to Marry, wrote a paper in 83, and in 2012 the Freedom to Marry launched the Mayors for the Freedom to Marry campaign, which encouraged mayors to endorse marriage equality. And we all know that in 2015, under President Obama, same-sex marriage actually became legal. But February 12th is, and we will celebrate it here, National Freedom to Marry Day. And I can't help but say that this, in the current climate that we are in, that so many people have been getting married pre-inauguration of the Trump administration and are doing so now because we just don't know what's going to come through the pipeline. And a lot of people are nervous and scared about these things. And so I hear it. So on this show, we do celebrate, and thank you to my boyfriend Diego for bringing up the awareness of today, which is National Freedom to Marry Day, which
And
has
it's
a
not on the
long
calendar.
history. And it's not on that calendar exactly, but it's on our Tags podcast calendar for sure. So absolutely. Oh my gosh. Moving on, the holiday that we talked about at the top of the show that's coming up on Friday that many people celebrate in the world is Valentine's Day. And the day before, on the 13th, I didn't know this, you knew this, Kodi, is called Galentine's Day, which is for women to celebrate Galentine's Day, a holiday trumpeting the joys of female friendships. You said you knew this, correct?
Yeah, a couple of my friends celebrate, and I was always included. And I think that even some of my gay male friends have done it before. So I think that it's something that has been in the zeitgeist for me for a little while. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was actually started in 2010 by a Parks and Recreation episode that prompted that. And I'm no stranger to celebrating shows, holidays that started from a show. If you remember, if you look at my social media, I celebrate the Seinfeld holiday. Oh my gosh, what is it called? George Costanza's dad created it. Festivus. Festivus Day is the day that they don't want anything to do with Christmas, and they put up a pole instead of a tree. And every December 23rd is Festivus Day. And I'm always screaming it out loud on my social media, Happy Festivus! Partly because I'm a Seinfeld fanatic, partly because I think it's hilarious, and it's a little bit angry towards all of the corporations and the big business that is Christmas. So this holiday, the one we are talking about right now, is Galentine's Day, which was also started by a TV show in 2010, Parks and Recreation. And like you said, people that celebrate it. But a recent article asked the question, why is Galentine's Day become a thing? And what about Malentine's Day, the day to celebrate men? And a lot of people had a lot of things to say. Some psychologists chimed in that men don't like to show their feelings. And other men have noted that they're afraid that close male friendships will be perceived as, say, girly. Many also said that it's just so a lot of men right now could maybe use this because there's been a lot of studies that have reported that men, as they get older, have fewer friends and have fewer connections. And it got me thinking a little bit about maybe straight men could use this. But then when I read a recent Reddit thread that says the male loneliness epidemic, how are gay men faring? And they wrote, I've been reading and watching the media's increasing coverage on the male loneliness epidemic. And what piqued my interest was how it's been primarily focused on straight men and a friendship decline amongst them. And while gay men have often dealt with this problem for decades due to isolating experiences of gayness as a result of societal homophobia and to some degree a pervasive hookup culture, we have fared better. And that's how I approached this at the beginning. I have a lot of friends. You do too. And we have some very close friendships, but not all gay men do. And a lot of people on this Reddit thread chimed in that said they don't really have a lot of close male friendships. Even when they have a boyfriend, they still felt a sense of loneliness. What do you have to say about the holiday that is observed for females and the one that is projected called Malentine Day? Should we get one too?
I think gay men already have Galentine's Day. I think it works for both gay men and women because gay and Valentine together equals Galentine.
There you go.
So I think that is a thing. And it's funny that you bring up celebrating Festivus because I celebrate Jackie Washington Day every single year. You know Jackie's Back?
I don't. Movie? Tell me.
We have to watch it. It stars Jennifer Lewis, and
love Jennifer Lewis.
She has a day in her hometown, and so I celebrate we have to watch it. It's hilarious. So
Well,
I
I
can't
love
wait
me
to
some
show it to
Jennifer
you.
Lewis. So
I mean, she's amazing.
didn't I
But
try to do my rendition of her? Because sometimes I can do straight into. I'm not going to do it now, but
I was gonna say,
yeah, don't put me on the spot. But I love me some Jennifer Lewis.
she is amazing. She's amazing, and I think that for gay men, we already are celebrating Galentine's Day, but I think for straight men, do they even really need to celebrate this? Because I feel like this article hit the nail on the head when they said that straight men they probably should be, because they are a little bit
Yeah,
stunted, I feel like, emotionally, because so many things concerning affection and closeness and being emotional has been ruled out for them, because all those things are equated with feminine nature. So I think that
right.
they have to do some work before they get a day to do this, because they need to become more in touch with their feminine side. They need to, as far as this from my perspective, of course, they need to do more work at making bonds and connecting with other people. And I feel like this is just it's a step that they have to take before they can actually fully appreciate having a friendship love day, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I think I hear the argument that a lot of men feel isolated, whether they are straight or gay. And I don't know that we need a holiday versus just acknowledging that and people looking out for each other. I mean, there's a reason why in our country at times when catastrophes happen or that are I mean, often they're men that are
Mm-hmm.
committing these crimes. And we need to look at the male dynamic and a little bit closer and mental health with all this, because if they are struggling with lack there of friendship, I don't know if they need a holiday, but we should just be looking out for them so that we don't have these incidences occurring every single year.
Maybe we need to make a man therapy holiday.
There you go. Yeah, that would be good.
Every day of the year. Every day of the year. It's male therapy day.
Definitely. Moving on, there is a show that is about Dolly Parton, and it has been playing in the UK. And a recent actor that's in it has been experiencing so much homophobia. The English actor I'm talking about is Stevie Webb, and like I said, he's on tour in the UK as a lead in the Dolly Parton jukebox musical Here You Go, Here You Come Again. And he opened up about the insane amount of homophobia he encountered on the road. And he decided to take it to his TikTok. He has over 308,000 followers. And he just couldn't believe all of so this particular version, because there's another one that opened in the summer of Nashville that really had to do with Dolly Parton's life story. This one, Here You Come Again, is really about a gay man's perspective. It says it in the title when you buy tickets. You know this. A lot of people love it in the UK. I hope it makes its way here to across the pond. But essentially, it's a gay man comedian's tale and who is really down and out with his life right now. And it's the music of Dolly Parton that really uplifts him and brings him to a better place. And there's a character of Dolly Parton who sings all of her hits that really helps him out along with the story. Well, he took to TikTok to tell about all of the people that have been coming to the show, and on almost every single performance, he's gotten homophobic attacks saying, you fucking, and I won't say the word, Kodi said it earlier
I
with
said
an
it
M.
earlier.
Like, we came to see Dolly Parton, not not men talk about his
Boyfriend.
sexuality. And it's really taken a toll on the show. Now, I watched a whole video roll on people talking about how much they love the show. And I have to assume that, well, there are these sad cases of homophobic attacks on every single show that they seem to go to. In general, people are responding really well. But that's going to take a toll, Kodi, on the
Yeah.
actor. And I don't know if you watched his TikTok video, but
I did.
didn't you feel for him? Because he's just trying to do a show that says what the show's about in the tagline, and he has to endure this almost every single night that he performs this.
So he seemed pretty well adjusted with it from what I saw in the video. But I do, now that you mention it, I should probably, my heart goes out to him because nobody should have to endure that. So
Yeah.
I feel like he's dealing with it well, but still, my heart does go out to him. But for me, I feel like it's so wild that people think that they can go to a show and yell to the people on this stage. That is
Yeah.
unfathomable to me. I cannot believe that that would happen. If I didn't like a show, I would leave. I would, stay and I don't know, maybe watch it and just not enjoy it. I have no idea what I would do, but I would never in 100 years yell at somebody on the stage. Secondly, this is a musical about Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton is super gay. All right.
Right.
Musicals are super gay. What did you think you were going to get? I know that people may have associated with the one in Nashville about her life, but come on, y'all. This is not brain science here. Brain surgery science. I think that it's just too much. People are going off the rails as far as LGBTQ plus people are concerned. And it's just really distressing for me. Dolly Parton would not enjoy this. Dolly Parton is about love. Dolly Parton is about amazing cornbread and muffins. She's about dressing like a hussy, and she is about fighting the good fight and standing up for people of marginalized experiences. She dresses like a hooker because that's what she saw, and that's who she idolized as a kid, hookers. And so she's an amazing person. I wish she was my godmother because I really do adore Dolly Parton.
Yeah, and I think you would really like this musical. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think that musicals in general are up for interpretation, and that's the beauty of a musical. This is an original production. It never said that it was her life story. It uses a character, Dolly Parton, and it uses the music of Dolly Parton. But beyond that, it's a creative interpretation of an original story, and that's why I love original musicals, is because they are interpretations of something totally creative. And in this case, it's about a gay man who's struggling, and it's the music of Dolly Parton and almost, if you will, his fairy godmother, okay, Dolly Parton, that really comes to save the day for him. And that alone is just a recipe for a brilliant musical. And
Yeah.
what part of it did you not get? Like you said, it was a musical. Gays are all about the musicals. If you really want to see Dolly Parton, then go see her live, or go see the other one that was in Nashville, or buy the live recording of Dolly Parton, the real artist. But
Or watch a
if you don't
documentary about
know,
Dolly Parton's
yeah,
life. Yeah.
thank you. But at this point in time, this is art that's on stage. Keep your feelings to yourself. I'll never forget when we used to cover musicals for my last site. There was a show I went to, Spider-Man, the musical.
You went to that?
And I went to it because I got free tickets to it because I was going to cover it. And
Mm-hmm.
it really wasn't the type of musical that we would cover at the time. It wasn't progressive, but I thought, well, I got a free ticket. Let me just go see. And it was choreographed by one of the one and only choreographers of all time. And her name escapes me right now, but she's huge. So I went for that. Well, I did not like, and I knew a friend of it in it too.
Well, we also have a
And
friend that did the hair and makeup on it too, just so you know.
well, I did not like, I was not into it. There was no emotional connection at all to the show at all. I've never really been a Spider-Man fan that much, and it was not working for me. I quietly left at intermission. I waited till intermission, and I decided, you know what? This isn't worth my time. I'm just going to bow out now. No one will even know I left. And I told the PR company that, yeah, I'm not going to be able to write a review on this because I don't want to give it a bad review. But
Okay.
that's how you bow out if you don't like something. You don't scream at the stage at all to these wonderful performers that are really risking everything and putting, their life on stage for you. If you don't like it, quietly leave at intermission, or leave, during the show. They won't even notice. But don't shout
Okay.
out things like that. Homophobic, especially. It's just
Have some
gross. So
decorum.
have some
Ridiculous.
decorum. exactly. Moving on, there was a recent article that came out that was asking gay cultural staples that gays actually don't understand. So things like iced coffee, drag brunches, douching, and more. A slew of queerty readers share the gay cultural staples that they just don't really understand. So I kind of like this article, and that's why I want to talk about it, Kodi, because it's our community actually saying these are things that are in our ethosphere that some of us just don't get. I'll read a few of them, we'll discuss, and then we'll see if we're in line with some of these or
Okay.
not. And the first one was the obsession with iced coffee year round. And somebody wrote, am I the only one who actually prefers their coffee hot in fall and winter months? Well, I mean, I got to tell you, I don't think I ever drink an iced coffee, even in
No.
Puerto Vallarta. No, I'm a hot coffee. I'm a black hot coffee fan. I do my own pour over every morning. And I just love hot coffee, even when I'm in hot Puerto Vallarta. It's just like I'll sit in the air conditioning to drink that coffee. I just can't. I need it to be hot. Are you a nice coffee fan or?
So it just really depends on the mood that I'm in. I actually had an iced coffee on one day that it snowed just recently. But I generally like hot coffee in the morning and iced coffee if I'm running around during the day. So if I'm outside, I can have an iced coffee outside in the freezing cold. Yes, I can. I'm one of those gays.
Sean in Staten Island said that fast speed walking, aka gay walking, is one of those cultural gay staples that he just doesn't understand. I definitely, so this is an interesting one to me because I walk so fast, typically, unless it's leg day when I walk pretty slow, but I walk really fast. I'm also a very aware walker in New York City. If I see somebody walking like up on my trail, on my tail, I move over. I keep it to the right. And like I said in London, you got to keep it to the left if you're walking because they have the opposite traffic.
Yeah.
But I do walk really fast, but there's sort of a gay walk I know that some people are talking about that I don't even know how to describe it, but it's like I just walk fast because I want to get from A to B fast.
That's right.
Do you understand that one or
Oh
no?
yeah, totally. But you know what? I feel like some gays really just go overboard with the fast walking. I feel like I'm a leisurely gay walker. I'm like very I'm trying to get where I need to go, but also I'm not extra about it. I'm not doing too much. And I think that for me, I think that the gay walk is a part of the culture, period. I do know some people, some gays that do not walk fast, but I don't know what they try and do with their lives. I have no idea. So it's
Yeah.
funny because I was just thinking about this today, and as I was like passing multiple people on the street, I was like, oh, you know what? I do really walk kind of fast. So I'm there with you guys.
Yeah, and this is a city type thing. Those in
Yeah.
LA maybe don't walk fast because nobody walks in LA. I don't know. You tell us. Somebody else said AC in Chicago says drag queens and drag shows. Most of them aren't funny. That funny. The food, at least at brunches, is awful with cheap swill from mimosas. And I hate
Oh,
getting harassed for tips. Oh, I don't know, AC. I love drag shows, and I think most of them are really funny. I just do. I love a good drag show. The thing about drag brunches, I used to agree with him that I thought that the food's not going to be that great, and it's all these bottomless mimosas. But I've gone to a lot of them recently, and I went to the Abbey, and I was telling a mutual friend that we have, oh, is the food going to be good here? The food was great. The
yeah.
cocktails were great. What I will say is, if you are going to a drag brunch, typically look around before the show starts. There's always somebody selling single ones for you.
Oh,
And
nice.
sorry to say it, you will have to be tipping throughout that brunch. So if you're going to go to one, just be prepared. Either get those singles before you go or look around for the person at the brunch. Typically, they have somebody on hand that is selling, buy 20 singles and, parse them out throughout the whole performance. It can be a lot of fun. I don't go to them all the time, but I love them. I think AC is wrong in Chicago. Do you not agree?
I totally agree with you, Steve. I think AC just doesn't know where to go, and he needs to find out he needs to hang with us so he can see where the cool drag queens hang out because we know. And you know what? I find that a lot of places now have really upped their game as far as their food is concerned because there are a lot of gay culinary aficionados out there, and there are a lot of places where you can actually get a really good margarita. You can get a really good Bloody Mary. And I agree, most of the time, the mimosas are not that great, but I love them. So sue me, okay?
Yeah. I mean, early on in my relationship, we went to P-Town and it was right before Memorial Day, so it wasn't busy. And we went to a drag brunch. We got picked on because it was a small space, but the food was excellent. The drag queens were awesome. We really had a good time. And if you're feeling somebody in those early weeks of dating somebody, nothing like throwing yourself into a drag brunch. You may get picked on, but that's kind of half the fun. You're
It's the
with your
fun.
people, and it will take a lot of the stress off of those early dates. We had a blast. So much fun.
Nice.
I'm so glad we did it, and it was great. Lastly, and because there's a few others, but somebody, and I do not agree with this because, of course, as many of you know, I'm into leather. I have been. They wrote leather. I will never understand how a culture emerged centered on wearing the skin of a dead cow. Well, okay, Matt in Missouri, let me tell you
Dang.
something. It is a community. And I am all about the leather community. That's the reason why I go to the New York Eagle. I entered the New York Mr. Eagle contest. I got runner up. I've gone to MAL in DC. I've gone to IML in Chicago. I have made so many of that. It is a community that has been around since day one. Think Tom of Finland, that has really held itself together and really stood up for what they believe in. A lot of it is just wearing leather, but a lot of it is really a community that forms with all of that. And within there is sub communities like the bear community, the rubber community, the pup play community, and I could go on and on. These are communities that are a little outside of the margins of the typical gay culture, but rest assured, it might not be for you, but don't hate on it. It's a thriving community that's been around since day one, and it's not about to go away. What do you have to say to the leather community and Matt in Missouri?
Well, Matt, I need to expose you to some of the benefits of the leather community. It's not just wearing dead cows, like Steve said. He mentioned a lot of different things. And I myself was just looking at harnesses today because I want to expand my harness collection.
Hey,
And yeah,
mister.
and if he doesn't like wearing dead cows, if he doesn't wear leather at all, there are a lot of vegan friendly options for him. So he just probably just should explore more and be more open to different uh, perspectives on things.
And let me tell you, when you put on a harness, you immediately change
Oh,
from
it's so hot.
the there's so many ways that you change from just the idea of either vegan or real leather on your skin to what it actually looks like and represents, how you can interact with somebody else either in a submissive or in a dominant way, the looks that you get when you have something on like that is really remarkable. And in general, for years, men's fashion was always so, to me, not that interesting. This at least actually shows that there's a lot more to it and a lot more play at hand. And yeah, as Bryce said, he needs to have several seats, and I agree.
Yes, me too.
Okay, well, that was a lot of fun. Uh,
We
checking
must
the
be really gay,
time.
Steve. I think we're really gay.
Are we?
We
Yeah,
liked all the
we
things.
we do. We kind of liked all of them, right? Yeah, it's kind of crazy. There was a recent Florida masseur who was arrested after attempting to basically give a blowjob to a client on a massage table. And the victim told cops that towards the end of the session, while lying on his back, Posadas touched his penis. The client believed this to be odd, but assumed it was a mistake. And thereafter, Posadas allegedly reached under the victim's underwear, grabbed the man's penis, and placed it in his mouth. The victim, cops report, jumped up from the table, ended the massage session, and left the business to alert the police. And a sexual assault forensic exam later revealed that the victim had foreign DNA on his penis, scrotum, and genital area, as well as the inside of his underwear. And we'll talk about a little bit more, but recently an NFL player, Justin Tucker of the Ravens, 6 massage therapists accused Justin of inappropriate behavior during massage sessions, and these were female, that claimed that basically he touched the masseurs in inappropriate ways. And in an article published by the Baltimore Banner, the incident allegedly took place between 2012 and 2016. 6 massage therapists, Kodi, they can't all be wrong. And I just think it brings up the whole thing because I've been known to get a happy ending here and there, but it brings up our community. You know when it's mutual and when consent is going on, or you should know when consent is going on. I've gotten massages in Puerto Vallarta before, in places that I knew there were gay masseurs, and it was quote unquote a massage. But I've also gone to gay massage parlors where I actually got a really good massage, but then I got a happy ending at the end. But let me tell you, it was mutual. There was something between the masseur and me that elicited the same response. You don't just touch a masseur, or you don't just touch a client when there is no indication of anything going on. And it's kind of a risky thing to go down because you could end up like this masseur in jail for touching a client. I mean, what do you say to all this? Because you know that our community has sort of like a fine line between that, but read the audience is what I have to say.
Phone a friend, do something. I don't get it. I have never had a happy ending before. I've always been too scared or too
like you mentioned, we just got to go to PV and
we've been
James, let me show you. Yeah,
you're like, he'll hook you up. He'll hook you up with a hand job in 30 seconds. Yeah, like you mentioned, there is unspoken consent that goes on between the client and the masseur. And in both of these cases that we're mentioning, it didn't happen. So both of them are wrong in their respective cases. But just speaking about my own personal experiences, I've never been able to like read when somebody is down to give me a hand job. I've gotten better at it a little bit, but I feel like for me, I've always been too kind of closed off in these spaces for anything to evolve to that space. So maybe it was me that wasn't giving the consent in these areas, and that is why I've never had a happy ending before. Besides with my various partners that have been giving me massages and then rolled me over, then knocked one out. But you like those sound effects? But
I do.
But I do see how it could go down, and I do think that it's, as long as it's consensual, then it's totally fine. And I would like for you to take me to the place in PV where I can get one.
I can definitely do that, but I do think it's a fine line, and you should never, on either side of it, masseur or client, just go for it like that, because in general, these are professionals and these are clients, and you could really, like this guy, cross a line that is really Langers. I mean, we could be talking about you on this show, and not in a good way, with your mugshot in jail. So it's a fine line. And we talk a lot about certain types of sex that you can have, outdoor sex, and we always say there are risks to be had. You really need to, if you're going to partake in any of these things, you just got to really kind of cross your T's and dot your I's, because you do not want to be a topic on TAGSPodcast that we are calling you out on. I mean, you just don't. And that's all I have
Yeah.
to say. So, yeah. Oh my goodness. Moving on. There is a new things coming out for Grindr, and it all has to do with AI and dating or sex, I suppose. And this article recently was talking about, well, Wired magazine said AI is set to play a key role in the path forward for apps like Tinder, Bumble, other apps, and of course, Grindr. And how is it going to do that? Well, CEO of Grindr, George Arison, said that he thinks the virtual hub for things like sup and pics, things that we say when we meet people, have become a lot more than a hookup product. And that's something people don't fully appreciate. And right now, Grindr is working on integrating features like chat summaries, dating and travel focused tools, and the first ever AI wingman. But by the way, that won't come out till like 2026. But Arison called their new wingman surprisingly flirtatious. And Wired's Reese Rogers got a sneak peek at our soon to be released Grindr BFF. And what they had to say was it will be kind of a helper in a way, a chat person that will help you narrow and hopefully get you the right person and offer you things like Grindr's wingman even answered questions about things like fisting and offered educational information about other kinks like pup play, like we were talking about, and water sports. But it drew the line when it talked about dirty talk and kept it pretty PG-13. That said, Rogers tested in some of the things include some details scrapped from the web, but it can go out and find new information in real time. I'm not mad at AI if it could. I like AI in many ways. My sister and I were just talking about it the other day about we were trying to rewrite a letter to our people that were staying at our Airbnb, and we wanted to make it sound very diplomatic. And we asked AI to take what we had written and then rework it to a more appeasing way for our guests. And it did, and it sounded much better. And they responded very well. I've used AI in many other ways, and I think it can be a great tool. I think if you're launching a business, it can be a tool. I think it could also help with finding the right man. I mean, the way Grindr is and a lot of these apps right now, people aren't really that happy with it. They're not finding the man. If it could look at the algorithms of what you're looking for and help you write a better tagline and description, if it could help you find out a better person to go after, I think those are only positive things. Don't rely on it completely, but it can actually help. What do you say about AI and the future of things like Grindr and how we meet people?
So I am here for the travel aspect of this and other nuanced tip-based things as far as where we should go, what to do on a first date, things of that nature, just to spark ideas. AI is a very slippery slope, right? Here we go. I feel like this whole AI dating wingman is giving very much Cyrano de Bergerac. Like, am I falling in love with you, or am I falling in love with the AI?
It's a
I don't
wingman.
know.
You don't typically fall in love with your wingman. They're there to help and support you.
In Cyrano de Bergerac, Cyrano was literally feeding lines to this guy in order for him to fall in love with this woman, basically. I forget the names of it. I think it's
Okay. Yeah,
Roxanne or
right.
something like that. So I feel like for me, it's reading as the AI is going to be doing the talking, and you're going to just be kind of like fueling it, I guess. But at the end of the day, how am I going to know? I'm just going to say it. If you're stupid, I'm not going to know, because you're going to be your thoughts are going to be filtered through an AI, and it's going to make you sound smart, but you're not really
Yeah.
smart. It's the AI that is smart. So I am a huge proponent of talking to people on dating apps before I actually meet them, because I need to know if we're compatible mentally. I know it sounds horrible to say out loud, but I need to know if somebody is can hold a conversation. And if you are filtering your thoughts and your actions through an I don't know if you can hold a conversation or not.
Well, like I used the example a minute ago of how my sister and I know how to write a letter or an email to a potential person staying at our Airbnb, but we wanted to clean it up. And I
Mm-hmm.
think AI is just what it is. It can be a really good tool to help you out. I've had people tell me that they've started their businesses out of from scratch where they had
Mm-hmm.
no investors and they wanted to really create a prototype of what the product could look like. And AI helped them do that, which helped them then get meetings to pitch this product launch based on AI. I know somebody else that has been doing that to launch their new speakeasy bar that they've used AI. They are actually opening up this bar soon, but AI has helped, been a really good tool to help them advance it in many ways to get there a buzz around it. And I think AI is a technological tool that is available to us now, given the year that we are in. And I think it can be really beneficial, but it can also go awry as well. But used in sparing ways, why not use some of these tools? And if the current situation that everybody seems to complain about when they're on Grinder, that I can't find anybody, I get blocked, is not working, I would invite AI into the conversation because maybe this is the tool that we need to actually meet the person we want. Not to rely on it, but to actually be a tool to help us. And when used in the right way, it can be a good thing.
I hear
That's
you.
all. Yeah.
I understand. And I feel like for business, that's one thing. It's in order to make something more diplomatic, like what you said before, that is something that is, in my opinion, it's a lot more, it's just business. So it's very flat. It's not something, I feel like with the interpersonal interactions that you're going to be having on Grinder, I feel like I need to have more of a sense of who you are as a person.
I just think the early stages of trying to meet people on the apps, there's too much of a tendency to block somebody if they said the wrong thing or didn't say the right thing, and it's like block. And if AI can help you write a better description or tell you that your pictures aren't representing you, I think I would want that. If I was going down this path, I wouldn't listen to every single thing that AI
Mhm.
spit out at me or quote unquote this wingman, but I would definitely, if it wasn't working the other way, and this is a total technological app that we are relying on to meet people, I would definitely welcome it. It's not like I said I want this person to like a robot to be showing up on my date with me, and it's
I
just
feel
a
like it's gonna happen
tool.
though. I feel like it's
It
gonna
probably
happen.
will, but I would use it if I was going down this path. We want to know what you
You
think and let us know. Are you for this or not? Some of the new interpretations of the way we meet people. What are people saying, Kodi? Will I move on to our next topic?
Bryce just put in the chat, so are we relying on AI to be the adult that we should be? Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of things that's going to happen is because it's, I don't know, and it may not happen, but I feel like it could eventually lead to people meeting up for first dates and then there's no chemistry or there is nothing to talk about because they let the AI do all the talking. I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see.
There's a lot to be said about it. Let's continue this conversation, but let's move on to a recent question of a guy that asked the question: should I break up with my partner who watches OnlyFans during sex? I think the shorter answer is yes, but we'll discuss. Um, Basically, there are certain bedroom experiences that can occur according to this article, and it's precisely the predicament one person, let's just call them not enough in Nashville, has found themselves in lately. Between catching up with friends and enjoying late night drinks, Nashville overheard me ecstatically talking about his advice column, according to this article. And Nashville's been with his boyfriend for a year and things were going great until he noticed a pattern. His partner, who was back at the hotel, wasn't just watching porn before or after sex, but during. Quote, I thought it was one time, he explained, but it keeps happening to the point that sex seems emotionless. Later, they explained how during one carnal session, they were giving them oral sex and looked up to see the boyfriend expressionless and tuned into what was playing on the phone. I felt cheap,
Mhm.
he explained, saying he now props up his phone on the nightstand or holds it in his hand like it's an extension of his body. This is definitely a red flag for me. I've been to hookups before where you walk into the room and there's adult content on the television screen as sort of like
Mhm.
a mood enhancer. And I think for a hookup, if that's on, if you show up at someone's house, fine. It's probably not my thing. I'm definitely more, while I like porn, I've enjoyed porn. It's kind of a personal thing that I enjoy by myself. When I go and meet somebody for a sexual encounter, I want it to be between us or between us three or whatever the case might be. I can agree where it can be a stimulator on the walls at times. There's a bar we go to sometimes where they've had it on the screens before, and it can be like a great tool to just get everyone in the mood for what we're kind of a red light district, if you will. What do you think about this? Would this be a red flag for you if somebody was watching OnlyFans every time you had sex with them?
Every single time is entirely too many times. I think that twice is too many times. I have been
Yeah,
in relationships before where we experimented with adding porn into the mix, and it was fun every now and then. But I feel like once it becomes a crutch, then it is too much. And I feel like that those things, uh, are you even really attracted to me? Or are you
right.
just having sex with me? Uh, I'm there in body, but you're really actually having sex with the people on the screen. So for me, and in my last relationship, we never watched porn while we had sex, and it worked out for me. And I don't think in the future ever want to watch porn with the person that I am dating or involved with emotionally, because it's just not something that I'm interested in. I'm interested in having sex with the person that is there with me and not somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, for many of us, porn is something that when you don't have somebody in the room with you and you're horny, it's a great tool and you
I
can
watched
see
some
all
today.
kinds of,
It was fun.
yeah, me too. And Twitter porn's real and happening. Blue sky porn is also on the radar. I post stuff on my Blue Sky X account, and somebody was commenting on that. And I'm glad I helped them out recently. So that's really
Get it.
good. And as they complimented me, but I think when I have a real flush person standing in front of me, the last thing I want is to have porn on or be distracted. I think we live in too much of a distracted culture as it is. And I just want to focus on the person. Like, chances are I picked you, you're with me for a reason. I like you. Let's explore all this carnal energy that we have together as real life human beings, sans AI, sans porn, and let's not be distracted. We're too distracted as it is. And I don't think it's a problem if you're in a certain situation. Like I said, you just meet somebody, they might have it on just when you show up, but you don't know that person from Adam. Okay, fine. But it should still be in the background and we should still be
Yeah.
connecting. If I find that you're looking up at it too much, then why am I here? So I just think, no, absolutely not.
Yeah. When you could just jack off by yourself and have a good old time.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Is it time for Thirst Trap?
I think it is. It's about
I
that
think
time.
I know we had so many hot topics in this
I
one.
know.
Yes.
We
Okay,
didn't
well,
hardly even get to half of them.
I know, and that's
It was a fun
okay. If
conversation. Yeah.
yes, exactly. Let's put that. I'm just going to put that into our chat for people to vote. This is the segment we love, produced by Straight Up Gay Porn. And they always ask the question, throughout the year, Thirst Trap recap which of these, in this case, 19 gay porn stars who took the best photo of the week. And it's our job on an auditory podcast, because of course this gets repackaged into podcast land tomorrow, and we've got to describe why without visuals. But of course, I'll put this on TAGSPodcast.com, reference episode 640. And Kodi, you'll be happy to know that your pick last week, Seth Kane, got the Thirst Trap King, and my boyfriend picked him too, looking really sexy with that New York baseball olive green cap, flexing his abs, and he had that really nice hair, remember, that seemed to just be shaved around the butthole area, but then it picked up from there, and his cock was lusciously turned upside down in the camera angle. And there's no, I can understand why he won. But who out of this week's 19 porn stars got your fancy, and why?
So it's funny that we were just talking about connection, because the picture that I chose is two people. It's Vara and Raheem Shabazz, and it is all about connection. They look like they are in the throes of passion. They are absolutely butt-ass naked. Vara has on a cock ring. Raheem, they both have huge dicks. They're standing in front of a window with like chantilly curtains in the background. They're looking at, I know, I don't know where that came from. They're looking at each other with such love and affection and lust. It's palpable through the picture, and they're holding each other, and they are just looking delicious, and
very
like
Valentine's Day.
Right? See, we're on theme. So yeah, they're fantastic. They're delicious. So they're my pick for the week.
Mine is less Valentine's, but is a classic by mean iconic porn star Austin Wilde, who is seemingly standing in front of a mirror, sitting actually on like a leather stool, but the way he's posed, his legs are out as a V. He's showing his beautiful feet, which I'm a feet lover, and he's got great feet, and he's very hairy, but it's very cut, like manicured really well. He's got great hair on his body, from basically his beard all the way down to his chest, his legs, and he's showing all of it. His erect dick is shooting outwards to the left. It looks luscious. He's got those great tats, and he's got kind of a nice smirk on his face, which isn't cocky, but is kind of sexy at the same time. I really like the smirk on his face, and this whole photograph, the lighting, I think, looks really good. And it looks like my boyfriend says both Austin as well. Is that just came in right now? So he said both Austin.
Can we talk about the dick on Spiky D though? That dick.
It's a little nuts. Yeah. Describe it for the people
ridiculous.
that may just, it's a little, he's a really thin guy.
He's a twink. Like, he's very thin. He has tattoos on his forearms and leather gloves on. His dick is a mile long. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's a country mile long. It's not even like a regular mile. It is very long. And I mean, I'm here for it. I want to go check out some of his stuff. Because
Bryce says Ryder Flynn for me, and he also says it's a scary dick. It is. I don't want to say scary dick. It's not Scary Spice, but it's a dick, and that's what we celebrate.
But
yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh,
it's long.
So much fun, Kodi. As always, we want to thank those of you. Thank you for sharing this live virtual night with us. You know, you can always follow us on Instagram. You can follow Kodi at Mr. Maurice, on Instagram, as well as Blue Sky. Follow me on the gram. I am _Steve V on Instagram, or follow me on my Blue Sky or my X account at TAGSPodcast, and I am starting to produce new content that gives you a preview of my Just for Fans and Only Fans. Also, run over to our Patreon page, our Tags Patreon community, where you get free content if you just join as a free member, but you also get extra special perks. You can also just grab certain perks on their own. You don't even have to become a member, but you will be supporting Tags Podcast. Go to patreon.com/Tags Podcast. And in the meantime, continue having hot
Hot
gay
gay
sex.
sex.
Lovely.